So I'm just going to create one more component called menu.js RFC, and that's going to be a menu named component. And inside this menu list we are going to have the multiple menus. What we are need to have, just like this icon and this li tag, we'll create it later. First we'll fix the menu, and we'll load that menu over here. Okay, and this menu, it's going to have the two props, and props is nothing but a property for your component, so don't worry about this now, we'll fix it later. Now let's go to your menu list.js. So as I said, this menu list.js, it's going to have the list of li tag which we are going to use it inside it. So just like this, home and discover, radio, and all those things. So I'm just going to create, let me delete everything, we don't need it. So first what I need to do, I'm going to import all the icons which is we needed for it. So import, I'm going to import 3 different icons from react icons /bs, that means bootstrap icons. I'll copy it and then I'll paste it 3 times, and I'm going to use font awesome, and I'm going to use box icons. So from the bs icons, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use fill house, bs fill house fill, and bs journal album, these 2 icons. And from font item, I'm going to use bi pulse, not font also, not, that's from bootstrap box icons, pulse. And from fonts awesome, I'm going to use fa broadcast tower, and the fa microphone alt, and fa podcast. These are the icons we needed. We have all the necessary icons we needed. Then what we need to do, we need to create the menu list. Const menu list, it's going to be an array of objects, and inside this we need to create the id. Let's say id is 1, and the icon source, we are going to use the icon as bs fill house. Then I'm going to name that menu as home menu. So like this, we need to create 6 more objects. Okay, so I'll copy and paste 6. So change the number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then change the icons. This is going to be let's say discover, and next one is going to be broadcast tower. Copy it, and that's going to be radio, and then microphone alt, that is going to be artists, and then we need to have the journal album, and that's going to be albums, and the last one, it's podcast. Copy the podcast and play it, podcast. Save the changes. So now we need to export these things. So let's say export menu list. So this will export the menu list so that we can loop through it to load it all these information over here. So this menu Okay, inside the menu, what we need to do. Okay, so just give me a moment, let me load that menu. Let me open that menu. Where is it? Come on, come on, come on. Okay, here we go. Where it is, where it is, where it is, where it is, where it is. Okay, so now inside this menu, what are the things we need to have? We need to have the title and object. So I'll go here. We need to create two props. One is going to be title, and what is the title? And another one is object. Say menu object. That's the title. That's a second prop. So title, we can say this as a menu, and object, it's going to be this menu list. So I'm going to import that. Import menu list from dot slash menu list, and I'm going to pass this over here as a prop. Then I can read it in the menu. So I need to destructure the prop. What is the first? It's going to be title and menu object. So if you are not destructuring it, you need to use as a keyword prop. So what I need to do is it will send the prop as an object. So whenever I need the title, so I need to target the title by prop dot title. So I can't go every time like this prop dot. So I'm just destructuring it so that I can use it directly inside the component. Then what we need to do is you need to name this main division first. Let's say class name, it's going to be menu container. Then inside this menu container, as I said, we are going to have this name and we are going to have this UL tag. So that paragraph tag with a class name called title, and we are going to use that prop over here as so title, and we are going to have the UL tag. Inside this UL tag, I need the li tag, right? So in this li tag, it's going to be repeated. So I'll open the phrases. Then I'm going to use this object, menu object. So conditional rendering, if that menu object has some value, I'm going for menu object dot map. So this map function will help you to look through each and every element one by one. So li tag, and use the arrow 6 function and open it. Inside this, we are going to have the li tag. So li tag, so that will create the li tag, and inside this li tag we are going to have an anchor tag, and that anchor tag is going to load hash. We don't have any specific link for it so far now. And then inside this anchor tag, we are going to have the icon, which is going to be from this icon. So that it's going to li dot icon. What is that object name? Where it is? Icon. Okay, then it's going to have a span tag. Inside the span tag, we are going to display that name and that. Okay, so we can change the name so it will get confused. Menu dot icon, and menu dot name only, right? Yeah, name. Save the changes. Now it should display all the names and icons from that component. So now it's displaying everything. We having our icons and the name and everything, it's loaded perfectly. Now we just need to style it. Okay, so now this is a reusable component. All you can send different object just like this, so that you can use the same component for different purposes. Okay, so let's target now. We'll write the styles for that menu. Okay, now all we have to do, increase the margin first for this menu container. So copy this menu container and then write dot menu container. I'll add the margin space from top and bottom 15 pixels, left and right 0. So now we have this nice top and bottom space. Then what we can do is we can target this paragraph tag, and we also have the styles for it. So dot title, and that's color, it's going to be #8484. So now we can see it clearly. Then I need to reduce the font size to 12 pixels. That's perfect. And then font weight as bold, so I can see it clearly. Then from that I need to increase some bottom space, so margin bottom 10 pixels, so that we can have this space. And it'll transform the text to uppercase, text transform to uppercase, so everything will be in the uppercase. Now we can see it much more clearly. Okay, then what we have to do is we need to target this UL tag. So copy the styles, not that one, copy this, because UL is not inside this title. We don't want to do the same mistake again. So UL width, it's going to be 100% of the width, so it should take the 100% of this width. Okay, then what we need to do is we need to remove the padding if it is having any padding. Now it's removed that padding also if it is having any padding inside it. Then what we need to do, we need to target the li element which is inside that li tag. So li should, first we need to remove this awkward style, li list style as none. Okay, then we'll target the anchor tag and we'll remove that underline. We don't want that underline anymore. Anchor tag, text decoration none, and you can see it's removed that underline, and we give some color for it. So color #788484. So we can see them very clearly now, way more, much better. Then what we can do is we can add some margin space between these li tags. So margin, let's say how much we can add, 5 pixels between them, 5 pixels and 0 pixels. I think that's more than enough, because we are going to add some padding also. So width 100%. So now let's remaining, we can add the padding, so 5 pixels and 0 pixels. That's more than enough space between them. Then what we can do, we can make this position as a relative position. Okay, because anyway we need to add this when I'm clicking or when I'm hovering it. We need to have this nice background effect like this. That's we need to add it by using li before element. So we need to make sure that this li tag is the relative position. Okay, after this what we need to do, we need to target our li tag. We already made the text decoration and color, and we'll make sure this li tag is using display flex. They are in a straight line, and align the items in the center so that they are in the center position, and the font size is 16 pixels. I think that's good enough. Okay, then what we need to do, we need to target this that means icon, which is inside. So what is this? We don't need this. Okay, we need to target this icon which is inside it, so that it's going to be, we need to make it a little bit bigger. So font size as 18 pixel. Okay, that's good. 18 pixel is way more good. Then we need to bring up some space between it, so margin right as 15. Oops, I'm sorry, anchor tag. Now you can see that's good, right? So we're having this nice space and this font size and everything is working much better. Then what we need to do is, when I'm hovering it, I need to bring up some styles just like over here, right? So for that, what I need to do is, first I need to bring up the before element for it. So copy it and create a before pseudo element. So this is going to be position absolute, and make sure the content as an empty, otherwise it will not load over there. So top 0, okay, and width it's going to be, you can say what width we can give. We can give width as 5 pixels, and height it's going to be 100% height, and the background color, and that color we can copy it from here. So I'll copy the color code from here, click it, so that will gives me the color. Copy it and paste it over here. Okay, and we can see, here we go, we have this nice background, and we'll add some border radius for this. Border radius we can say 5 pixel. That's good. Now we need to move it a little bit backwards, so left, let's say minus 15 pixels. That's way too small. What we can do, we can open the inspect element and adjust with it. Let's see. We needed it exactly over that, so minus 30 pixel, I think so it's pretty much good. Or what we can do, we can reduce this padding effect. I think it's too much padding for it. We can say 15 pixels for it. Yeah, that's good enough. So what we can do, we'll reduce the padding effect for our main thing, 15 pixels, and we'll make it 20 pixels. That's good enough. Now we can see the style is perfectly applied over the left side, okay, because we don't need that much space in the left and right. So this is perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now it's showing this style for every li. I need to display it only when I'm hovering it, so I'll make the width at 0. Now it's gone. When I'm hovering this li, we need to hover first, so hover. When I'm hovering it, I need to bring up that before event. So width is 5 pixels. Now let's see. See, it's coming, but it's coming very instantly. So what we need to do, we need to add some transition effects. So transition 0.3 seconds. There we go. We have the nice transition effects. Okay, so after this, what we need to do is, we need to do the same thing. When I'm hovering it, I need to increase the the color, text color of this thing. So what I need to do, I'll copy this one, and then I add the hover effect for this. So color hash f1, and the same thing, transition, it's going to be 0.3 seconds. See, it's working perfect. Then what we need to do, I need to add the active style also. If this current li is active, I need to maintain this style. Well, because when I'm moving my mouse, it's not working. So what we need to do, we need to add the active class. So we need to apply the same styles if the it's having the active, so I'll copy it and I paste it. Okay, if the li dot active, instead of hover we are just going to have active. If li dot active, so please make sure that you have this dot this without any space, because it's not inside this li tag, it's going to be the class which is added over here. Okay, so copy this one also and paste it and change dot active hover. No, we don't need the hover, so dot active. Okay, so why we return this classes, let's check. So if that li is active, for instance, so let's add the class for class. If that li tag is having this class as active, and see, that will stay remain. That's why we added that. So we are just going to toggle this whenever I'm clicking for this li tag, I'm just going to toggle it. So for that, how we can do it, we are going to use the use effect. So use effect is a React hook. Use effect is a React hook. It will be executed whenever your object is getting rendered. It will be executed. It will be executed every single time whenever your component is rendered. So we are going to use that use effect. So inside this use effect you can write a normal JavaScript, so that normal ES6 JavaScript, so that it's really useful. This React hook is really useful when you want to write an external ES6 JavaScript. Okay, so for that all I need to do, just enter after your function component and use effect, open it. So this use effect is going to take a function, and that function is going to take two different parameters. An ex6 function, it's going to take two different parameter. One is your function, and then another one is it's an array. Okay, if you don't, this array is an optional. If you don't pass this array, this use effect will be executed every single time whenever a single changes happen to the component. If you're passing an empty array, it will executed only at the time, or only one time, when for the first time it's getting rendered, it will get executed. After that it will not execute it. That's why I'm passing an empty array to it. I need to execute it only one time when the page gets loaded. Okay, and inside this we need to fetch all the li tag first from here. So for that I'm going to get const all li, and inside this equals document. From the document we are going to select query selector, or not comma, it's a dot, query selector. I'm going to give this menu container dot menu container. Inside this we having that ul tag. Okay, so let me expand it for now a little bit so that you can see clearly. Menu container, inside this menu container we having this ul tag, and inside that thing we having all the, we need to select all the li tag from it. Okay, so that will select all the li tag. After this what we need to do is we need to create a function. Okay, why we need to create a function? So first I'll say that. So inside that all, so if you console log it, console.log all li, so you need to see all the li tag inside your console menu. Now see, we having all the li tag, all the li modules. See, so don't worry about this module, because this warnings, these are nothing but these are coming from your href, because we never given a proper valid link for this href. We simply given as a hash. In case if you are having a different link for it, you just need to give create a one more component called for reference and use that reference over here. That will navigate to that particular thing. Okay, so that's why it's showing that warning. Now that node more it's loaded that complete list, so I'll no need this anymore. I'll close it. Then what I need to do, I need to add a listener event for each and every li tag which is inside it. So all li for each of them, let's say nth element inside it, I'm going to add an event for it for that particular element. So n dot add event listener. What kind of event listener we are going to add? Click event, comma, and I'm going to create a function called change. We need to change that menu active. So change menu active. This is the function, but this function is not yet created, so we need to create that function. So right after here, so function, I'll paste that function here and create an empty function. Okay, inside this, as usual, what I'm going to do, all li dot for each inside that nth element. So in this, I'm going to remove for each element. First, I'm going to remove that active class. So class list dot remove. It doesn't matter which one is having. First, I'm going to remove it every single time. Whenever I'm clicking it, it gets removed. Okay, and after this, once it's get removed, I'm just going to add the class list again for that element which I clicked. So that's why I'm using the this will represent the current instance where it gets clicked. So I'm going to add the class called active for it, and make sure this active class over here and here it's exactly same. Now let's verify whether it is working fine or not. If I click it, it should work. See, it's working. If I click here, it will remove that one and it's add the active over here. So our active is perfectly working fine now. Okay, now this is done. Next, what we need to do, I hope we completed the menu section now. Then we can move on to the playlist. Now we just need to create the playlist. Okay, so let's create a new component called menu playlist. So as we can't use the same component because this is different. Why? Because it's having this scroll and it's having these two different icons, and here we're having three different components, so we can't use it. So we need to create a new one for our playlist. So inside the playlist, what are the informations we need to have? So just a moment. Where is that playlist? Just a moment, let me open it. Come on. Where it is? It's a track list. Okay, so I opened it now. Okay, so over here, let's create RFC and we'll name it as a named component. There we go. Then we just use it inside it, where we don't need this menu.js anymore and menu list.js. And inside this, after this menu, what we have to do is we just need to import it. Okay, so menu playlist, that will import that file over here and make sure that it's imported perfectly. Okay, so it's imported. Then we need to write the styles which is inside the menu.list. Let's see what we have here. First we need to bring up this container, top container, and we're having this like a playlist. So let me name this division as we can name that division as a playlist container. Playlist container. And inside this playlist container we are going to have two. One, first we are going to have that name container, that which one is the top, and next one we are going to have the playlist scroll. Playlist scroll container. Okay, this and this. Now inside this name container, as I said, we're having two. One is that name and an icon. So for that playlist, and then it's having the icon also. So icon, for this we need to import icon. So import from React icons font awesome. What icon I'm going to use? I'm going to use far plus, and we'll use it here. Far plus. Oops. Far plus. Okay, let's see whether it is loaded or not. Yes, it's loaded. Okay, now we need to write these styles for it. Let's write these styles for it. So first let's write these styles for the playlist container, for this entire container over here. So playlist container, and scroll it down and write it over here. Okay, so for that playlist container I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to add the cursor as a pointer. Okay, the margin space, everything is looking good enough. Even if you want to add a little bit more margin space, you can add a little bit more margin space for it. Okay, anyway, we'll add some margin space, 15 pixels top and bottom. I think that's more than enough. I think the style is not applicable over here, so import. We need to import this styles over here. Let's say let me check whether it is loading or not, because it's a child component only. Yeah, it's loaded. No worries, because it's a child component which is inside the left menu, so it will already, the styles is loaded to your parent component, so it will take the styles. So we don't need to import it again, so we don't need to worry about it. It's working fine.